Now we are going to convert this component into reactive. So the first thing to do is we are going to create a variable. So we have to get rid of this. This variable is going to handle the struct of the inventory item. That is the name, the quantity, and also the price. All right. So what I've just done now here is I have created a reactive signal that store all the inventory item. All right. So that's the essence of this variable. Then for the back, this back, it is just like a Rust dynamic array. All right. So you remember we have the struct which we have created inventory item. That is it here. All right. So that means you just think of this signal as a special variable that Leptos watches. All right. That means when there is any changes. So the reactive signal that that stores all the inventory items. Whenever this list changes, then the UI updates automatically. So this is just very easy to understand. All right. After items are added, Leptos notices. Then the moment it notices the changes, it will automatically refresh in the UI. So that's the essence of this. Next, we are going to continue with the reactive signals for the three items. So we are going to create the input. So each signal stores the current value entered by the user. So we have to come down. All right. So now we have the input for the name. You can see we have let name, then set name. All right. So signal, then string new. So this is going to be string. So we are going to do for the remaining items. So I'm going to copy all this. So the second item is quantity. The next item, which is the last, is price. All right. So now we have created the reactive signals for the three inputs. All right. So now after this, next we are now going to continue from there. So we are going to create a closure. So this closure, it runs whenever the add item button is clicked, because we are going to have inputs which are going to be these three items. Then there is going to be a button which is going to be clicked to add the item. So now let's create the closure. All right. So first of all, we need to convert the quantity text into U32 number. All right, because it is coming as a string, so we need to convert it into whole number. So to do that, we are going to have let. So we are going to use pass which is meant for the conversion. All right, so we have done this. So this is going to convert it into whole number as it is coming in string. So next we are going to convert the price into an floating point number, that is with decimal number. So this is the variable we declare. Next we are going to start the conversion. All right, so now we have price, the get, then pass, then or RAF. All right, so this or RAF that we have just used here, we can use or RAF or like this. All right, so this is or RAF or 0. So if what you added is not the input, so it is by default is going to be 0. So this also will be same thing. All right, because this is going to be with decimal point. Then after that, we are now going to make sure that we do not add item if the name is empty or it contains only space. So we need to trim that. So to do that, we are going to use if name dot get. So this is how easy you can be able to do the trimming. So if it returns positive, then you are going to use. If it is empty, then you are going to return. All right, so that's about this. The next thing to do is we are going to update the inventory list by adding a new item. Okay, so to do that, let's come down here. So we have already created the signal, which is items. So items.update. So this is how you will now add it off. Then inside, we are now going to open the curly brace and close it like this. So make sure you are closing everything with semicolon. Therefore, you are not going to encounter an error. So now, after we do this, next thing to do is we are going to say list.push, which is going to be the inventory item. So here also, make sure you put the semicolon at the end. All right, so now we focus on the things that we are going to push. So the first one is we are going to generate a unique ID for this item, that is for the particular item. So we say ID like this. All right, then after that, we are now going to store the item name, which is going to be like when the user entered the name of the item. So we are going to say name. So name get. All right. All right, so you now put semicolon. Then after this, we are going to store the past quantity. That is the one that we have already converted. So we are going to use quantity like this. Then next, we are going to store the price also, the one that we have converted. So we'll say price like this. So you put semicolon. So now this is going to help us to update the list whenever another item is added. So now after this, but one thing for we to take note of is you can see we are doing everything inside this addition of the item. All right. So that is to say, when we're adding into the item, that is when we need the list to be updated. So let's cut this from here. We are now going to place it under the if statement. All right, so now let's continue from where we stop. So after this block, come down. Next thing to do is, after we confirm that when the item is updated, we are now going to clear the input. So to clear the input, after successfully adding the item, we are going to use the set, which is our variable. So set name dot set, then we are going to string new, like this. So this is going to make the input to be reset. All right, so these are the state variable. Okay, so that's what we are using here. So now after we set that to nil, we are also going to do same for the other inputs. So the next one, come down here, we say set quantity. So quantity should also be 0. We can let it be 0, or we can also let it be set to empty as it was on the as it is on the other one. So we can say string all right. Next, we are going to do same for the price. So that's how it is. So now we are done with this. All right. So after this now, we are now going to focus on the view. All right, which is the macro that define the HTML like user interface, something that we are going to display on the browser. All right, so since we want to declare the view here, you can see at the top here, we created a view. All right, so this view, we can remove it from here. Therefore, we are not going to have an issue. So let's remove it from here. So now we can work with this particular one. All right. All right, so when we now set the view here, that means we need only one closing curly brace after that. So we need to remove this. So that means we don't have any error now. So this is how exactly it is expected to be. So next thing to do is, in the view here, we are now going to add the title. So let's use the H1. So we can call our title as inventory of, like this. So after that, we are now going to have the div, which is going to be for the form. So now let's add the inputs. So for the name, the input is going to be text. Then you can also add a placeholder name, like this. And we are going to also display the current value of the name input. So you use prof for that. So this is pipe symbol. All right, then after that, we are going to update the signal whenever the user types. So now we'll say on input. So we use 5, then we now do this. All right, so this is how you can do that. So this is going to update the signal whenever the user types. All right, so now that's for the name. Okay. All right, so now we are going to do for the numbers. So to do for the number, I'm going to copy this. Therefore, I can paste it below. So this input type for the second item, which is quantity, so it's going to be number. Then the placeholder will now give it quantity. Then for the move, this is quantity dot get. So that is the content is coming from our variable. All right. So after that, then for the move is also going to be set quantity. All right. So as I said, this is going to update the quantity signal as user types. All right. Therefore, the reactive moment can take place very easily. So now that's for the quantity. We are now going to deal for the price. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So price is also going to be a number, but we are going to allow decimal. So to allow decimal in the price, you are just going to use something like this step. All right. So then the price, which is going to be this placeholder. Then after that, the value is going to be from price variable. So now we are going to set the price. That means for the signal to know about the changes. Therefore, the list can update automatically. So we are going to do it this way. So now you can see we have the form. The only thing that remains in the form to be completed is the button to click. That means to add the item. So to do that, we are going to use button. So this is going to be let's close the button. Then we are now going to add a text, add item like this. So let's close the button. So now we close the button. So this button we have to attach on click. All right. So that means when we attach on click, then it's now going to execute. So let's add click, which is equals to add item like this. So that's the on click of this button. So now this add item, you can scroll off, you can see this is it here. All right. So we created that add item at the top, which is we create it as the closure. All right. So that's what is going to be executed when the button is clicked. That means when this button is clicked. All right. So the next thing is we want it to be reactive, as we said earlier. Okay. So to do that, to make that possible, we need to display the total number of the items currently in the inventory. So this updates automatically whenever the item list changes. So it doesn't need browser to refresh. All right. So that's the reactivity. So let's create a paragraph for that. So this is how we want it to be. If you like, you can convert it to string if it is not coming as a string. All right. But if it is coming as a string, then you can now leave it the way it is. So now we are done with this. All right. So next thing to do is, you can see we just made these changes. So for we to see the changes reflecting, let's now open the browser. Currently, this is the terminal. It is already running. So now let's try to open the browser. So the moment we do this, now you can check this. You can see it is building. So let's go back to the browser. All right, so you can see we come across an error. It says build failure, error from build pipeline. So here, let's check it out. You can see here set quantity. We have set quantity. All right, so to list. So now let's start it from all over. So you can see the first error here is the step here. So that step, it is not supposed to be that way. All right. So whenever you are adding it, I put plus sign, which is not supposed to be plus. So that's the first error. So that error is gone. So after that, let's scroll down. Then for the list, you can see item.update. That's on line 34. So here, line 34, I added exclamation mark. Is supposed to be 5 symbol like this. So likewise at the end here also is 5 symbol like this. So that's the second error. So after that, this in 64, line 64, we have set quantity. So T is omitted, so we need to add T back to there. So now we have that. The next thing to do is, all right, so now let's try to compile it again. Therefore, we can now confirm if there is another error. So this is how you can debug the project. So the moment you open the browser, then it is going to start compiling. You can see. All right. So now let's allow it to finish compiling. Therefore, we can check if there is another error. So now let's open the browser. Yes, you can see we have the form created for us. So now I'm going to add, let's say here we are going to have sugar. Quantity, we put something like 50. Then price, we put something like 1000 or 1900. So click on add item. You can see the page did not load. It automatically react and one is added here. So let me add another one. So now I'm going to click on add. You can see it automatically work. All right. We add. You can see it automatically work. So here we have come to the end of this lecture. See you in the next lecture.